Hello everyone, welcome to Patrician 4. I feel like playing this game even though it came out, what, 10-15 years ago? It's been around a while, but it scratches an itch that very few other games do. So let's go ahead, free play. We will play as a woman, because of course we will. Let's be pretty. She's lovely. And our icon... Shield? Just shield and a cross? Nah. Boats. Boats on our water. Sure, I like it. We'll start in Lubeck, I suppose. Might as well. Normal difficulty. I'm not gonna make things harder for myself. Random production, so it's not boring. And we'll change our name, of course. We are Yay. Yay Stromberg. Alright, immediately stop the game. Oh, I'll need to mess with that. Let me see if I can change that now. Keyboard. How do I... Slower. So let's turn slower to... Dot? No, that's apparently taking a screenshot. What about... We'll try that. Test. Yeah, I haven't bound that to anything. My apologies. I have my minus key set to push to mute. So, we are in Lubeck. Let's see what we got today. We have production of cloth, wood, brick, and honey. That's not a bad start. Brick and honey, or wood and brick in our first town. We'll definitely turn this into a production town, a building materials town. It's all empty. The town's small. First thing we do is we go in and we grab a piece of treasure map. So, somewhere out in the world, there is a treasure, and we can identify it by a little bit of coastline, but we don't know where the treasure is. Anyway, so we have one boat, one ship to our name. We are here in Lubeck. Let's see what goods there are. Apparently, they have an abundance of cheese, so let's grab some of that cheese. We'll just grab a bit of it. And not much else. We'll grab a little bit of a few things that they might have and not be too upset about me taking from them. But not a great start. So, here we are in Northern Europe. We are here in Lubeck. We have towns over here in the east and London, of course, down here in the west. Off this way is the Mediterranean. We are just trying to make some money, though. So let's just take a look around, see what goods are in demand. So here in Rostock, they also produce brick, they produce grain. We'll grab some of that. They have salt. And they also produce cloth and clothing. Nice. So that means they're always going to be short of cloth. Unless they're perfectly supplied in wool. Because they'll convert it all into clothing real quick. That's some potential. Immediate trading route right there. Stettin. So Stettin has grain, hemp. We can sell our honey off. It produces salt also. And mead. We'll grab a few of that. And meat. So mead and meat in this town. Danzig has grain and hemp, quite a bit of it, and has iron. Or I think they call it metal, right? Raw metal. But I think of it as iron. And also produces meat. It produces salt too? No, it doesn't produce salt. Okay. Some potential there. Bunch of raw supplies, mostly. Down here in Thorn. They produce wood and hemp. They produce salt, so again, they'll be supplying Danzig, mead, and matcha meat. Ah, so this place produces both salt and meat. Meat is a requirement, or I'm sorry, salt is a requirement for meat. So this will be a good place to produce meat on its own, perhaps. Keep that in mind. I'm just doing a quick survey of the country. We could be doing this more efficiently, but I don't care that much. It's all for fun. So, here in Riga, we've got some wool production. Again, grain and hemp everywhere. More mead. Mead seems pretty common as a luxury good. They produce pelts. Okay. We'll check out Revolve. I should explain this interface a little bit, since we're going to be looking at it quite a bit. So these are the different trading goods. The little gear marker says which one this particular town produces. The little dots describe the price based on how much the town's supply compares to its 10-day demand. Now, this is also its 10-day production for its own shops. But the little pips, the red pip means that it does not have enough for its 10-day demand. 1 green means it does have enough, so it's kind of at its good price, but it wants to stockpile more. 3 and 4 are kind of the same. They mean that it's overproduced. There's too much of the good here. Generally, I'm happy to buy it at 2 and sell it at 0. I want it to be all red when I sell stuff. But, so you can see the price changes as you hit the different pips. So 360 is the kind of the standard price for a pelt. Now, as I grab pelts, at some point, it'll dip down to being only 1 pip. And this will be the last one I can buy for 360. Then the price goes up. And similarly, if I were to sell, it would be the same thing. So this does not have enough meat, so the price is up at 539. As I sell stuff, it gets cheaper a little bit, but stays pretty expensive. And then the price drops precipitously as soon as you get to that first pip. So there's like the expensive level you can sell things in. There's the cheap level, and then there's a large cliff between the two. Anyway, you also get reputation for selling things when they're in high demand. And I'm just grabbing pretty much anything that's cheap, and then we can sell it anywhere else where it's somewhat dear. There, reputation is increasing. So let's go check out Novgorod. Nope. We have something in the water. We saved some castaways from Oslo. So if we were to go right now to Oslo, we would get like 1,000, and if we go to any other port, we'll get like 100. It really poorly incentivizes going to take them back home. You don't really need to. Yeah. The reward's just too small to bother with. So you're in need of some honey. You produce brick, grain, iron, metal goods, in addition to metal. Interesting. So metal goods are metal and wood. So you don't have wood, but you're pretty close to being able to produce metal goods by yourself. But right now you don't have any, because you don't have any wood. So, potential. Just worth keeping these things in mind. For now, I can grab your excess metal, since you're not able to turn it into wood. Oh, that's very interesting. They produce metal goods and pelts. Do they have hemp? No, they don't. But pelts require metal goods and hemp, right? I think. So this is a great town. We're definitely going to save Novgorod. It doesn't produce food, does it? No, it produces grain. But every place needs at least 2 good food items in order to not die. So we'll have to make a point of trying to save Novgorod at some point. something in the water. Just 50 random flotsam of various things. Looks like there were a lot of metal tools and maybe some clothing. I'm not sure. Free money. New rank trader, because our total net worth went up enough. You sell beer, which needs grain. Do you produce grain also? Okay, yeah. So this city is going to have trouble not starving because it'll be converting all of its grain into beer. Potentially. We might need to supply it from outside. Okay. And clothing, which will be pretty meaningless for you. Alright. Down to Visby. We're ending up with quite a cache of stuff and not like good opportunities to sell it. You produce metal and metal goods. So you're another place. You might steal the thunder from Novgorod, potentially. But you don't have your own pelts, so. We can go ahead and buy a bunch of those. Of various things. And even though you produce iron, you have more metal good production, so you can't self-supply as is. And you have cheese, which is another food item that doesn't have any any other requirements to it. It doesn't need to consume something else to make food, just worker time. So we've got a bunch of cheese on us right now. So yeah, Visby, keep that in mind. Let's go check out Malmo. Malmo has building materials, salt. So it produces salt innately, because salt needs wood. Mead, but no honey. And it has cheese also. Okay. Dude, looks like there must be a ton of brick production in Malmo. Because that price is staying pretty stable, no matter what we do. Okay. Here, let's stop by in Lübeck again. To get all of this. Well, we don't really have a lot of extra stuff, but that's okay. We'll just resupply going west again. Okay, we do have a bit of money.
I bid you a most hearty welcome to my beautiful city. As long as you behave and keep your nose out of my business, I'm sure we will get along splendidly.
Alright, so let's see if we can buy a ship. We have 61,000. We can't quite afford another Crayer. Oh, we could. We could get a cheap one. Sure. Okay, so now we have a second ship. And I am going to change things up a little bit. I don't want to have to walk around with two ships like we have been doing. So let's take a look at the world. We said we cared about Novgorod, and it's nicely situated way out here on one edge of the map. Let's make a trade route. That's just going to do auto trading for Novgorod. So starting in Novgorod. Novgorod needs wood. It needs food items. It needs hemp. So let's take a look at what's around. There's honey there, potentially. Might be a good trade. They need pelts, and that will actually, well, we are going to be producing pelts ourselves. So Reval's not that good of a place for it, but this would be great. That will get you your hemp, that'll get you beer, and give you some clothing, potentially. This will give you some cheese, but it kind of competes with you on many things. So I don't think I'll go there. What about Malmo? That will get you cheese, salt. There's your wood, mead. There's some meat. And one more, perhaps. Riga, just while we're going by. Might as well. And I'll just tell them to auto trade. So just whenever there is a good price for an item and the other towns that you're wanting to go to also want that item, go ahead and buy it. So now this guy will be running around with his meager capacity. Might be worth actually trying to sell a bit of these brick, just so that we can get money enough for you to be able to begin trading. Let's check out Steadon real quick. All right. We still have quite a bit of brick. We'll head up and around and visit the rest of the map. So Aelberg produces wood, honey, tools, pitch. So wood and pitch. That's a good potential. Pitch we haven't seen anywhere else yet. Might be limited to this one town, and that's important. You'll need it for shipbuilding. So we'll grab a bunch of it. Let's check out Oslo. So Oslo produces construction materials, wool, beer, and clothing. Kinda not that special. It doesn't even self-supply the beer. So it's not that good of a town. In terms of like, where are we going to settle for our first few towns? Eventually it might be just somewhere we'll go just to distribute wool. I swear, the entire game is not going to be me messing with these sliders. This is, well, to an extent it won't be. This is just for our first run around the area. Up in Bergen. So again, construction materials, honey, tools, beer, and that's it. Edinburgh. We've got some wood production, hemp, metal, fish. That's our first fish we've seen. So I think fish require just salt. And clothing. But the fish is the cool part. Let's see if they have fish other places too. There's usually some sort of a regional impact. Like all the cities down here produce one thing, all the cities over here produce another thing. And then with minor variations in a bottle. Another piece of the treasure map. Let's take a look at it. Well, a piece of the treasure map that contained open ocean and nothing else. Very useful, that. Our money is starting to get higher. let's go ahead. Can we say start building another crater? And we should start doing that in many places as we approach them and visit. So London produces brick, hemp, iron, mead. Apparently we sold way too much cloth to them. You produce fish also. Interesting. So the fish, still haven't figured out the best place for that, but it's a potential. Some free goods, bunch of fish. Ooh, some spices. Spices aren't produced anywhere. There isn't a single city in the game that produces spices. Instead, you get them from Mediterranean trade, or they come over land. But hey, I'm happy to get some when I see them. So Bruges produces grain, hemp, wool, and wine. Our first bit of wine. Let's check out Cologne. That was a little lazy of me. I'll buy some of that back. Ooh, see? Look at this. They're full up on spices and wine. I actually got to that 4th pip, so we're just going to buy a ton of that. We'll distribute it out the rest of the world. But we're going to run out of money real quick. Yeah, we don't have enough money to grab all the wine from here. All the cheap wine. Too bad. I didn't even look. So Cologne produces wine, building materials, and is self-sufficient for mead. Interesting. Potential. So just looking at this. So this city has this many inhabitants, and each inhabitant either works at a job or lives in a house based on their social class, which is a strict percentage. They will pay income each turn, each day of the game. Housing occupancy always sits around 60% because at 60%, the AI, the patricians in the various town, build a new house. Now this town is experiencing prosperity. Wage costs are reduced by 5. Now the reason why that is based on their list of goods, which I can't see because I'm not in the town right now. That means that their needs are being met. They don't have many things where they are wanting a good and don't have it. But apparently it's going down. The trend is down because of mean reversion, for one thing, and because their abundance of goods is drying up. So other towns are going to be much worse. You're on an upswing. Lubeck is in prosperity. Rostock is also in prosperity. Things are pretty good right now. Lots of places are doing well. Early in the game, populations are low, so it's easy for everyone to be supplied. It's really just a matter of hauling things to various places. But as towns stay in prosperity, they grow, and their demands become higher. They need more goods, which means shipping is needed to grow also, which means production needs to grow, and there needs to be population to support that production, and it becomes a big logistic spreadsheet nightmare, which is great. It's fun. Now that we have well, we don't have any money yet, but we're going to have money in a moment. So Bremen has grain, wool, Wool and cloth. So that's potential. This produces its own cloth for free. But Lubeck also produces cloth, so maybe it's not such a big priority. Our sliders are a little tricky. But this city is going to regularly have a bunch of cloth to trade because it's self-supplying. Just like people that have both mead and honey, the mead is supplied by itself, not from trade. What about Hamburg? Hamburg has wood, grain, salt. So wood and salt. It also has metal tools and cloth. And that's it. We'll just grab a bit of the excess from each one. And we have some money, so let's go ahead and get another shipbuilding. Anything interesting here? They want me to give them some money and I'll promise to pay them back? No thanks. Okay, and that was the entire place. So there were a few cities that are standouts. They might want to deal with something with quick, but for the most part, nothing too special. Nothing that I want to just jump on and say, we need to make this game be all about Alberg, or whatever. Like a 3-tier production line. Out of money. Alright, so running around like that is all fun and good, running of sliders, that kind of thing, but it doesn't scale. In order to actually make this work, we're going to need to automate. So we do that with using our counting house. We only have one right now in Lübeck. We're going to hire an administrator. And actually, before we do this, okay, this is a little bit of a trick. So the price level for goods, it's based on a percent of a base price. And right now, once you set it in one of the interfaces, it's easy to set. It auto populates from the other fields. Just to make it so that our administrator knows the prices, I'm just going to do it as part of a trade route. So these are the base prices. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to sell things when the base price, or well, we're going to sell things at 175% of the base price. And then we're going to buy things at 120% of the base price. So we're buying wood at 39, and then we're going to be selling wood at 57. And those correspond to the 0 pip and 2 pip levels. Actually, it's 180%, but it's this is easier. Trust me. Anyway, so now when we populate them like this, it already has the price there. And I certainly could have gone through and increased them by like in the same way to the right price, but it's just easier through the ship interface. So we're going to set up Lübeck to sell its own goods and buy things when they're cheap. So right now I'm going to not tell it to buy anything. We'll do that later, perhaps. But for now, we don't need to worry about it. We don't need to buy anything. You're just going to be distributing things. And I'm just going to, for now, say that we're going to keep 100 of wood and construction materials here. Everything else you can just sell as soon as the price requirements are met. Okay, and then we'll take our ship and just throw it all into our warehouse. Instead of having to go one by one to each of their various places, we can just have our warehouse slowly drip it out into Lübeck's main market hall. Now it's not going to buy anything yet. That's still on us. But it'll mean that we can slowly keep Lübeck supplied, and it will increase our reputation, and it will make us some free money by selling goods at the optimal price. It just means that there's like a reduced velocity, if that makes sense, because now we have to wait for our money to show up instead of it being able to come in a big spurt as we throw it into a port. So I'm gonna still go ahead. Well, no, I don't want to actually run around anymore. That's boring. Let's go ahead and set up a very simple route. So just like this. And you're just gonna go ahead and trade automatically also for now. Oops, I messed up the order. Did I? It's good. Ah, I put Elberg at the top. That's the problem. Okay. Looks good. So go ahead and run around and trade some things for me. Let's watch it a little bit. So I picked up some random things that were that were cheap in Lübeck, and that I thought I could sell somewhere else. Sold them all and picked up some new things. Sold most of them and bought a ton of brick. And so on.
I see you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
And Elberg does not have a shipyard yet, so we'll wait for somewhere else. And I'm having it sell to the open market because otherwise I worry that our warehouse will just collect goods and goods and goods. We'll eventually start storing stuff in our warehouse, but not now. Let's check Rostock. Someone else is building a ship here, so we'll wait. And Malmo doesn't even have a port. What about you? Our Novgorod. Where are you? Otto Novgorod. Did I spell that right even? Yeah, I did. So, you are doing the same thing over here. Let's go ahead and start queuing up some ships to be built. It'll go a lot faster when I actually just let it go rather than stopping at every single port. Novgorod is trying to build something, but that's okay. We can be next on the list. Up in Stockholm. Another boat. Ship. I like Crayers. There's 3 ships we can get right now. Snikas, whatever. They're cheap. They don't have much cargo capacity. They're not even that fast. There's Crayers, which I've been purchasing. They are very fast. They have medium capacity, 300. And
I see you are
they're
helping
relatively
me
cheap.
develop my city. Keep up the good work.
Oh, so Elborg has a event. It's collecting harbor dues. So we might want to tell you not to go to Elborg for a bit. But that's okay, it's small. We don't really have like a huge fleet running around. And you don't have a shipyard yet. Yeah. Here, take a stop over in Danzig for a moment. We'll just queue up some ships. Anyway, the third type is the cog, which it has 500 capacity, is a little bit slower, is relatively cheap for its cargo capacity. The problem with it is that it has a heavy draft, which means that it can't go down the rivers. It can go on the sea through these various coastal towns, but it can't go to the river towns like Thorn, Cologne, Bremen, Hamburg, others as things progress. It can go to Oslo, but I find that if you have a mix of ships, some cogs and some crayers, then it just gets being confusing. So I end up collecting all my cogs into like a single huge fleet that just goes all over the place and delivers a bunch of items everywhere. And then I use crayers for all the regular local routes in smaller size. Here, stop by Reval real quick. Oh, I don't have any money. Can we sell anything here? I can just wait. That's the part of this game. You hold space and you make money. So we have a new ship in Lubeck. Go ahead and queue up the next one. And let's set up some more auto routes. So, what's my next town over? Auto Reval. I basically just want to have a automatic route for every town, just to do automatic trading for a while, until we start getting into the longer game. So Reval needs tools, and it supplies honey. So, and it needs cloth. So it supplies honey, so we could give honey to them. It needs tools. We can get tools from Visby or from Novgorod. Let's do Novgorod. Might as well keep it. There's not going to be many other cities I'm going to send way out here. So, that's tools. Somewhere that makes beer, perhaps? But you self-supply. Again, honey to there. And that will bring meat back. And then somewhere with cloth. Lubeck itself, perhaps? But you also have honey. So maybe Rostock is not going to have many clothes. Sure, Lubeck. Just do some auto trading. I just want to watch it to make sure it's actually trading. New ship in Hamburg. We don't have any ships over in that part of the world. So we're going to... Oh, I didn't activate this one again. My bad. Go ahead. Keep going. Where is my ship over here? Here, you go over to Hamburg real quick. So, the reason I have to send a ship there is I can't just click in and look at these different towns. I can in Lubeck, because I have a building there. I have the counting house. But everywhere else, I actually have to go there. Even if I have a ship there that I haven't turned it into something yet. Which is annoying, but oh well, what can you do? And our money ebbs and flows, so at this point we actually don't have enough to start another ship. Probably. We do, just barely. Here, you go back to work. And what's the next city over? Riga, perhaps? Yeah. Auto Riga. I don't want to ignore the west side of the world too much. We might just want to send the next ship like over here just so that we're not ignoring that part of the world. So Riga. Riga produces pelts. It's got hemp. It needs tools. It needs it has wool, and it needs mead. Or I'm sorry, it needs honey. So that actually seems like a great partner for Lubeck. Where else do we produce tools? I'm gonna go to Stockholm, Visby, Elberg. Yeah, I like that. And let's not do Lubeck again. Let's do Rostock this time. I could just grab 5 random cities and it would still do okay. I'm just trying to give them a bit of an edge up. Our money situation is not that good. But that's okay, we're investing. And really, we have that much money, it's just sitting in the bottom of our boats right now. We'll just watch this a little bit. Yeah, stop by Visby for a moment. And we'll just put a ship there. Okay. Do we have a ship building here? We would, except for it's lacking supplies. Rostock does not have one. We're gonna need a ton of ships. Like, I would not be unhappy to have another 50 or 60 right now. And later in the game, we're gonna need like 10 or 20 per good at the minimum. Where was that ship just put? It's in Riga. So next time we get to Riga, which might be a while. There we go. New ship. Let's make this auto London, just so we're not ignoring the West. So London makes fish. It doesn't really need much except for honey, everything and salt, I guess. So we're looking for somewhere with salt and honey. There's some honey. And anywhere that needs metal goods, or that needs metal, would be good also. So you need metal, and you produce salt. That works. Up in Bergen. I like it. And then Edinburgh just kind of browns out without really contributing that much. Would it be better to maybe go to Malmo? I like that. Malmo first, then back to Bergen. Alright. New ship in Hamburg? You're gonna stop by Hamburg first. On your way. And this one... Why don't you be Auto Hamburg? Sure. I probably shouldn't do that. We'll lose track of which towns we've been in. So Auto Edinburgh. We'll just come in from the west and east. So we've done these 3, we've done these 2. Edinburgh. So you have metal and fish, and you need cloth. And you have wood. So you already have wood. You also already have wood. You also need cloth. Well, having some wine would not be terrible. Let's actually send you to Cologne. You produce cloth. You produce metal goods. Let's do both of them. They're right next to each other. Travel time does matter. So, I like it. All right. Oh wait, stop in Bremen first, and we'll just get a ship building. New ship in Lübeck. What's our next town? Stockholm. So Stockholm self-produces beer and needs cloth and has wool. So that's a really good partner for someone that has cloth production. Maybe even with both of these. So Lübeck, Rostock, and then something else over in this side of the world, maybe. Just customers for your beer, or for some of the other goods that we don't produce anywhere else. Meat and cheese. Sure. Next ship. We can't afford it. So we just hold space for a little bit.
Hometown. If you want to increase your reputation even further and outdo your biggest competitor in the city, you will have to employ more workers than your competitor does, as jobs are the most important thing in the eyes of the citizens.
Fair enough. So we're getting this quest, increase production in Lübeck. Gives me 40,000 reward, if we can actually do it, which we probably can. So I'll accept that. Lübeck has 42 beggars, so these are inhabitants who could become workers and move into, or they could become inhabitants if you give them a job. They'd be poor, but either way. In particular, they said they wanted honey, so let's go ahead and, oh, I can't. I need to buy the privilege first. Spend 20,000 to acquire the ability to produce goods in Lübeck. And now I can't afford to actually build the honey. Let's go ahead and just purge some of our storehouse. If we have anything. Not a lot. How much do each of these cost? 8,000? We're close enough. We can sell it back at the base price. So a couple things of honey. I do them way out here. And there's a reason for that,
You no
which I'll
longer
get into.
need to try to produce goods here. I have everything under control.
It'll take 5 months to build, but that's okay. Or 5 days to build, not 5 months.
I see you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
I'll give it a try, man. The various patricians who own the towns are pleased with you as you start raising their prosperity, which really based on your reputation. But it's the idea is that you're raising prosperity, so they're happy with you. But then as you begin to take over the town, they become less pleased. But right now, everyone's still all happy to have me talk to them. Why didn't you bring anything back? Are you not trading right? No? You're good. You just didn't have any money. Oh, I didn't have any money to
The
buy
goods
anything at the time,
produced
probably.
in your new business will be delivered to your counting house daily. From there, you can do whatever you want with them.
All right, so we have 2 beekeepers now, and right now we're not employing anybody because we just built them. Let's just wait a day. We're still not employing anybody. Wait another day. There, we got 10 people. So just out of nothing, we are producing 1.6 barrels of honey a day, or whatever the unit of honey is. And they are ending up in our storage. So our storage is slowly going to accumulate a bunch of honey. Right now it doesn't have any, but today it should have 1. Right? There we go. Build another ship, please. Eventually we're going to care about that more, and our production, our native production, will be how we get most of our income, distributing goods that we produce ourselves. But for now, we're still setting up auto routes. Here, do we have a shipbuilding in Danzig? We do. Let's look over here. In Hamburg, we have a shipbuilding.
I see you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
Will do, man. Okay, this is actually a bit of a problem. So now that we have ranked up enough, we're going to start having pirates appear. And controversial idea, I have to admit, this is a bit controversial. I hate the pirates in this game. They add nothing, and they're a nuisance to fight. So I blatantly cheat to get rid of them. I can't get rid of them entirely. I can't make them not show up. You could make it so that you can't ever progress in rank, and then you'll never get pirates. But then you also can't do other things. So the way I get around it is basically make it so the pirates aren't actually able to hurt your ships. So I can just go in with a rowboat and get rid of all the pirates as I want. So we'll have to devote a ship or 2 to just knocking out pirates. But it's never going to be a challenge because I'm blatantly cheating because I think it's a stupid part of the game. So there's a pirate right there. Pirate Cornbrook. Which means we need a ship that can fight it, and we don't have one right now. The next ship that gets built will turn into a pirate hunter. Do I have any ships just sitting around? No. We got plenty of money. There's a ship in Danzig. So, actually, do we have anything we can just buy? Like, I usually don't like buying ships, but nah. We'll just wait till we go to Danzig and turn this into our pirate hunter. So, you'll be my personal ship. I am on this ship. I'm the pirate hunter. And we'll need to upgrade you. So each level upgrade reduces your cargo capacity by quite a bit. Now this is only a 140 compared to 300. And it gives you the potential to have additional sailors and gives you
have to
armament.
worry about the basic
So we have
crew
14
on your
cannons.
ships, as the captain of the convoy
We have to
will
recruit
take
some
care of it for
sailors.
you. However, you should hire additional sailors to man the cannons on your escort ships. The more
Sailors
sailors
are
an escort ship has, the faster the cannons will be reloaded.
they come from the
You
same
can hire
pool.
sailors in the tavern.
Come on, finish. There's no way to make him just shut up. It comes from the same pool as beggars, so we're actually hurting the production of a city a little bit by hiring away its sailors. And the percent of them that are willing to see, so it says 40 are hanging around, 33 are offering service, which is based on your reputation in the city. Alright, that's good enough. Let's go and kill this dude. Okay, like I said, this is cheaty, It has to be manual. If automatic, this won't work. You have to do it manually. So right now, they cannot do damage to me, but I can do damage to them. So it just takes some time for me to wipe them out. There you go.
I see you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
And now we get a new ship. It's in very poor condition. It's a cog. So
Keep up the good work. You now have an armed ship in the convoy. If you want this ship to defend the convoy,
I'm going to go ahead and
you
pull it
must
out.
declare it to be an escort in the
Say to go ahead and
convoy's
repair it up,
shipments.
and
I
we
see
will
you are helping
go
me
ahead.
develop my city. Keep up the good work.
I'll do that, man. What am I doing?
You have a free ship in port, which is not part of a convoy. To send this ship out,
Rostock.
you must either add it to a convoy or use it to form a new convoy.
Okay. We'll send that cog out somewhere else to do some work. But now we have a new ship. What's the next city we were gonna do? We did Riga. Did we do Stockholm? I think we did. So Visby. Auto Visby. So Visby has cheese and self-produces metal goods if it had wood. So we're gonna want cities that have wood and need goods. So you need goods. Or no, you don't. You don't need anything. Forget that. You need goods. So you already kind of produce it yourself. You do. So those are two things to sell to. Now we need some places with wood. And potentially just like random other stuff. That's fine. So I've heard that in the new version of this, the Port Royale series that has the new one coming out later this year, the battles are going to be turn-based. So they might actually be worth doing and not just cheating your way past. Oh, a piece of a treasure map. I'll take that. Let's just see if we can view it yet. No, it's just some random spot in the world. Go ahead. So now I have a ship that's sitting around in port. That's okay. We can use this to go pick up ships as they become available. You're getting repaired. And I can use you to just go and say to make more ships while we're here. So you're making one. New ship in Visby. I've already got a ship here, so I can deal with that. Danzig is next, I guess. Auto Danzig. So Danzig has meat, so everywhere wants it. And it has metal. And that's really kind of the only real virtue. So this would be a terrible trading center for it. This wouldn't be bad. This would be good just because it's so different. It'll like be able to they'll supply what the other ones don't have. Should we send you up to Novgorod? I kind of don't like it. Now let's send you west. Send you up to Oslo. And Stettin. No, that's not that good of a deal. Bergen? Bergen's not terrible. Sure. All right. And you can go back and wait and go check out Danzig real quick. Yeah, we didn't set something new that last time. What about Thorn? Okay. New ship in Hamburg. Hamburg seems well supplied for making ships. Like, we've gotten 3 times as many from them. New ship in Riga. What's the next city? Thorn? Yeah. Okay, so Thorn has meat, and it's going to have a lot of it, because actually that's pretty awesome. It can self-supply meat. Thorn might be our next city to go to. I mean, it even needs the same honey from that we produce here. It fits pretty well with us. I like it. Anyway, well, that's a good reason for us to make that our first trade partner. Let's go up to Elborg, Malmo, and Visby, perhaps? Well, if we go to Malmo, we don't really need to go to Visby. Maybe Stockholm instead. Yeah, let's go to Stockholm instead. I am neglecting a few cities, but it's okay. As long as every city has its own auto route, then I don't have to worry about neglecting it that much. I can't quite afford the credit. Where's my ship going? To Hamburg.
I
Right.
see you are helping me develop my city.
Let's do Bruges.
Keep up the good work.
So Bruges produces wine and doesn't have any consumption. It just has 4 goods that produce from nothing. So that's going to be interesting. It has to just be a supplier to other places. Well, let's get London since it's right there. We'll go to Hamburg. Wouldn't be terrible to go to Lübeck. Somewhere to drop off their wool. So that's somewhere to drop off their wool. Maybe somewhere with beer. Oslo. I like it. It's a little bit of a crisscross. Can we reorganize that perhaps? It's fine. The island in the middle is a issue. Oops. Any other free ships? I have one in Lübeck. Yes, this one's still being repaired. It's almost good though. There we go. So this is going to be a tricky ship because it can't go into the rivers. So we should probably make it somewhere like up north where it won't have obvious trade partners down here. I'm thinking Oslo. And let's do Bergen next just so we don't forget it. So we've got beer. We need somewhere that produces grain. We've also got wool and clothing. This would be a great trade partner with Lübeck, except for we have the construction materials in common. There's really no need to go out that way. That's not a good place. What about Aelberg? Pitch is nice. Just getting pitch on more trade routes will be helpful. I'm gonna skip Elberg this time. I'm gonna go. I'm sorry, Lubeck. I'm gonna go to Rostock instead for our cloth. And then somewhere with grain. Well, there's grain. That's not bad. One more city. Malmo? Nah. Danzig? Not terrible. A lot of this doesn't matter. I mean, these routes will probably exist forever because I'll be too lazy to change them. And it's always nice just to have some auto trading going on. And it kind of doesn't matter. This will never be our main source of wealth. But it's, you know, it's making it so that we can just hold space and we'll slow to get money, which is great. Oh, did I see a pirate there? No. Here. Go and make some more ships show up. So we're having, it looks like the entire country has a wood problem.
I see you are helping me develop my city.
Lots of places don't have wood.
Keep up the good work.
It's like some guy out there is, you know, building a ton of ships. New ship in Stockholm. When both of these were just leaving. We'll wait for someone to swing by that way again. Someone else is building a bunch of ships here. Boo.
I see you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
You don't even have a shipyard, so. There we go. We said we were going to do Bergen next, right? So Bergen has construction materials and needs a source of grain and a source of metal, and can supply honey. So there's metal. I like it. There's more metal. Both of these are grain. I like Hamburg a little better though. And then something over here. Maybe Elborg. Though no, that's not good. They're the same kind of. There's mead. So that would be a way to supply, to give out our honey by sending it somewhere with mead. I like it. Kind of a long trade route, but that's okay. Yeah, when they don't have a shipyard, it doesn't let you say to repair, which means that when you say duplicate this, copy from the previous town, it'll continue to not want to repair. It's a little annoying. Did we say to build something? No, somebody else is though, so forget about that. Nope. Some random goods. Bunch of wine. And I'm just gonna sell everything because I'm too lazy to carry it around. I don't want to have to sit around moving sliders anymore. We're past that part of the game. Ah, everyone's... Oh no, that's me. I'm building stuff. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I see you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
I'll give it a stab. Okay, it's possible we have like everywhere building. We've got ships in Lübeck and Rostock. Here, go to Rostock. What's our next city? Have we done Cologne? I don't think we have. Let me look at my list of ships. Auto... Nope, no auto Cologne yet. Let's get that one out of the way. Alright. So, you self-produce mead, and you're desperately in need of food. So, well, you have wine and mead, so I guess it's not that bad. But you could use other staples, like grain and stuff. Let's go to Bremen, Hamburg, Oslo, Edinburgh. Get those fish. I kind of like it. Our money is coming in so much faster now. We're not actually able to spend it on ships. That's okay. There will be other things to spend it on. Did I send a new ship in Lübeck? How could I forget Lübeck, of all places? Okay, Rostock. Actually, no. Where are we going next? We did Bruges. We did Cologne. We haven't done Bremen. Let's do Bremen. So you're starting in Bremen. Bremen produces a ton of cloth. And I think that's going to be its role. It self-supplies cloth. So let's find places that have clothing. You produce clothing? You do? We do also produce grain, so potentially the beer there is that's a good route between those two. And then I think we just need to get some other stuff onto the... Or no, one more clothing thing right there. So this is a long route. And then maybe just something over here to balance it out. Get some meat. Get a bunch of this stuff. So thorn. I like it. It's a long route, 21 days. I think that might be the longest route we've seen. Eventually, they're gonna build a trade route, a shipyard there, and we'll be able to repair. Let me take a look at that. Can I just see the time it takes for each one? So 16, 21, 20. Nope. 21 is the longest. So that's our longest route so far. We're gonna have more though. What are we doing? You're sitting in Rostock. Any ships free? No. Any quests in Lübeck? Increase production? For cloth? Sure. I need to get privileges. Oh, we did not have enough things here. Can I... No, I don't have enough in storage either. Let's go quickly bring some brick over there, just to make sure we can complete that quest. Yeah, was that enough? Yeah. No, maybe? No, not yet. Get some more. There. Okay. Now that's underway. It'll finish in time for us to get the reward. Nothing going on. We need more workers to advance our rank. And we're going to get another, what, 20 from them? Because each one's 25. So that will advance us in rank. New ship in Danzig. And in Bergen. Here, let's make this Hamburg. Okay, so Hamburg produces tools if it had iron. So let's find a source of iron. And we're going to have a ton of salt. So let's find somewhere that needs salt. So somewhere with iron and somewhere that needs salt. Perfect! Also perfect. Not that good, but other things that, well, let's skip that. And then one other just random place. Danzig. Yeah, needs, there you go. Another long route. And go ahead and build another one. You can never have too many ships. Like, if there was a way just to check to make sure I was building everywhere, I would keep on top of
now
that.
set up your first business that requires raw materials for the production of goods. Please remember that
That's
these raw
fair.
materials
I
must
should pay
be
attention to that.
available in your counting house every day.
Although,
As
to be
each
honest,
business draws its raw materials from the counting house.
like we set up these weavers that need wool. I guess we can do that. Let's go ahead. Let's set our counting house. No, I don't want to deal with it. I just don't want to bother. We'll just let them run at a loss.
I see you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
I just don't want to pollute my my administrator screen until I duplicate it out to several other places. It's a stupid reason, but it's the one I have. What was I doing here? I was seeing if I was building a ship. Anywhere else need a ship? We have a ship in Bergen. I forgot about that. And one in Hamburg. Here, you start going this way. Someone else will end up in Hamburg. There, someone's in Hamburg. Where do we need one? We did Bremen. I guess Aalborg? We did Oslo, I'm sure. Aalborg. Okay, so you produce pitch, so we're gonna need you everywhere. You also produce metal goods, if we have somewhere that has metal. And you have honey. So somewhere that produces mead, but does not have honey would be good. And just random places would be good, perhaps. You've got the honey. You don't need it. Another place that needs it. I like it. New ship.
I see you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
I'm on it, man. No worries. Right, there was a ship in Bergen. You're going the wrong way. Bergen. I guess you'll get there first. And I think we need to do Malmo. So auto Malmo. which I probably am not pronouncing right. How do you pronounce that? That ooh, the o umlaut. Mamo. I'm probably putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable. You have cheese. Cheese is needed everywhere that we're not producing it. Why don't we go kind of wide? You've got salt. Alright. And let's send our personal ship back. Just to sit in the middle somewhere. Waiting for the next pirate. Usually we'll have somewhere else visiting. Every town.
I see you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
So what do we have
I see
left?
that you are helping
Stettin.
me develop
Stettin's
my
next.
city. Keep up the good work.
Otto Stettin. Stetting. So Stettin produces meat and can use honey and needs wood. So a source of wood and a source of honey is our focus. There's some honey. There's some wood. More wood. Wood and honey. That's fine. Alright. New rank, traveling merchant. Now to go up a rank, we need to get a
You've probably
counting
already
house.
noticed that spices cannot be produced in the Hanseatic League. These products come overland from the Mediterranean via Thorn, Cologne, and Bruges. Now that you have become traveling merchant, you can also send a convoy to the Mediterranean to buy much greater quantities of these goods more cheaply.
I suppose I could. Oh, there's some goods. New ship in Thorn. Thorn, not Cologne. Otto Rostock. Is it with a K or with CK? I think it's CK. I'm not sure. Yeah. So Rostock. It's got salt. It's producing a bunch of clothing if it had wool. So really, we're looking for somewhere that that has wool. So where are my wool producers in the world? You. 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 And Bremen, sure. Technically, I could have all of these routes done again, but going in clockwise, going around clockwise. Like, I set them all up at counterclockwise, and I don't know why. For some reason, that's just the way I think. But I could set them all up again clockwise, and they would probably be successful routes. Because they're good cities I'm connecting. Oh well. But I don't want to invest too heavily in this phase of the
I
game.
see you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
Any ships sitting around? No. There's a lack of raw materials. Yeah, I know. I don't want to. I don't care. Do we have any new quests? Gold for Lubeck. Then the city 500,000. Sure, I can use it, and it will give it back to me and give me more money. Sure. Rostock is under siege. So, I was talking about the different events that can happen, like starving or not having enough workers, prosperity, like this. So the event, the prince sieges the town, means that, well, let's look on the book. Any buildings that are located outside of the wall, like these beekeepers, for example, have the potential of being destroyed, as the prince comes in and tries to enforce his will. Now, the city counters this by expanding its wall as it grows. The AI does it, and the AI picks where the, well, you could do it too if you were the mayor of the town, but I'm not the mayor of all the towns. The AI chooses where to put the new wall based on the furthest building out. So I always put my first few businesses all the way at the end of the road. We can't actually build anything out here. I don't know why they like let me see it, but like I can't. This road is not eligible. Invalid building site. Only things pretty much behind this line, which means you can really tell where the wall will be. It's going to go like right here. But they could not build it out that far. They could build it only out to here, or they could only expand one side of it if there was all businesses on one side. But by building several businesses all the way out along the road, you guarantee that the AI builds the wall as big as it can get. Anyway, I might as well build a few buildings out here. Why not? Just to make sure the AI doesn't
have
screw up.
already told you a number of times that I do not appreciate your continuous expansion in my city. You are disturbing my business.
Just get some raw materials. And let's look. So the city is at 62%, which means that the AI, the Patrician we just heard from, that was complaining that we're disturbing his business, is going to want to build a house. Inside the walls, of course. Another piece of a treasure map, sure. So I could build our own house instead, which is very expensive in terms of resources. Lots of brick and wood. Not very expensive in terms of just overall cost. It's mostly just all the wood. It's like what? So it's the difference between those two is the expense to build a house. And I'll just go ahead and say build a few.
Either tear this house down immediately or cut me in on the profits.
Remember,
Remember, I was here first.
Immediately reduces it, even though it's not built, to lower than 60, so he won't bother to build a new one. In general, in practice, you want to build a house for every business that you make. That will keep things balanced. New ship in Rostock. And in Lübeck. I think the only auto route we don't have yet is Lübeck. Oh, this is showing, this mark is saying that these buildings that I just said to make aren't actually building because we don't have enough wood and brick in the market. See, they're empty, which is why the price is really good. So you can actually exploit it, kind of, by building a bunch of things and then selling a bunch of wood and brick and then canceling what you're building. I think you'll come out ahead doing that, but that's too cheaty even for me. And we are starting to build up quite a bit of honey here. Worth keeping that in mind. But let's go ahead and build this convoy. So auto, Lübeck. So Lübeck has building materials, has honey, and has cloth. It needs wool, and that's it. So it needs wool, supplies cloth, supplies wood. What would be some good places? Supplies honey. Although I don't care about that as much right now. Out here, I like it. There's the wool. and a seller for our cloth. There's wool, but not much else. Well, actually, we can sell our cloth to you, so that works. And maybe something way over here. Yeah, I like that. Kind of a long route, but that's okay. There we go. And that is every city now has its own little auto route. So I can now hold spacebar and eventually have infinite money. Or well, have enough money that the game won't know how to tell me about it anymore. Or just let time go past. And I'll eventually make money. But that's boring. That's boring. We want to get there faster. We need better scaling. So we have a ship in Bremen and in Rostock. We can still use a few more auto routes, really.
From a specific event. This could be the outbreak of a pestilence or a plague of rats, for example. The event is indicated by a symbol above the town hall. You can find out what effect the event has by moving the mouse pointer over the town hall.
I know. So we don't have another city to base this around, but we can base it just on regions. So let's do an east auto trade route. Just all these cities out here. Now let's do this one too. Oops. So that will deal with like random things that show up. Like I really haven't been paying attention to moving brick around. It hasn't been on a priority for me because lots of places produce brick and there's usually something more interesting going on. So these little local routes handle that situation. Anything interesting? No. We did get a treasure map. I still can't see where the buried treasure is or where the thing is. Doesn't matter if you identify it.
You are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
The virtue of all these auto routes is they're building up reputation max everywhere. So everywhere is going to have our reputation up at 80 eventually, because that's the highest you can get without having workers. And it will make it cheaper to actually develop and expand in that city. So Revolve, for example, is a place that we have not done a lot of selling yet, which is a shame. How's Novgorod doing? Again, not that good. But you really want your reputation to be high everywhere. It's a virtue. Alright, no ships. I have a ship in Bremen. You're going to Bremen? Someone's going to be in Bremen soon. That's another virtue of all these auto routes. We have ships going into all these ports all the time, which means we have vision of all the ports all the time. Here, you are auto west. I did that one clockwise. I wonder why. Sometimes it favors going clockwise. I guess when you're in Hamburg and you're thinking I need to go west, you're not going to go east. You're not going to go north to Bergen first. Anyway. Am I making a ship? I would be if I had more metal goods. But my auto routes will deal with that. Elberg is charging money again, which can be spammy, I would say, more than anything else. So my auto Stettin route's actually carrying was carrying quite a bit. That's why that mooring fee was so high. But that's okay. As long as you're carrying trade goods, it's fine. If you start like carrying around like 10,000 wood just to make sure you have it around. You don't want to stop in Elborg, but it doesn't matter. Ooh, hurricane. New ship in Hamburg. Here, let's do exactly this thing I said. So we'll make another west route in reverse. So we'll go Hamburg to Bergen. Oops.
I see that you are helping me develop my city. Keep up the good work.
That means our reputation hit 20%. Shipping Cologne.
You will never be mayor of this city.
Oh, now they're getting angry. The guy in Lübeck, because of we have workers there, so our reputation's getting pretty high.
So that's what you get.
Well, that's worth keeping in mind. So, okay, first of all, our housing is way up again, so we should definitely build a few more houses to get it back below 60. We should go ahead and build some warehouses. We should make sure that our warehouses have guards. I'll go with 4. It's maximum for 1, but once we have these, we'll need more. And now that we're making the population increase, remember, it started at 2,000, but because we have supplied goods to it and caused prosperity, it's increased to 800, or 2,800. 2,800? I don't know where I'll be going with that. But anyway, it's worth keeping that in mind, because now it's going to be harder to supply it all, because the daily consumption has gone up. So you can see that in this city, for example, just without any industries that need it, we need 32 per 10 days. 32 iron per 10 days. Where's somewhere else I can look? Rostock. Rostock is smaller, so it only needs 22, and it's not even being supplied. Anyway, but, what am I getting at? So this city is becoming harder to keep alive. You might think of it that way, which means we'll eventually need more targeted routes in order to keep it well supplied and happy. It's also getting quite large, which means that even though we're not the mayor of it and can't like build these cathedrals and large shipyards and infirmaries and that kind of thing, we should go ahead and build some fountains. So this is a very small well. Now I'm just going to put one right there. And you can see a small well supplies 3 houses and it reduces the chance of fire and disease. So with one well, we're at a supply of 10%. We'll build a few more. We'll build these bigger ones. These supply 9, but they take a building spot. So we should find good spots for them. And then maybe a few more small ones, just in little areas. You can't like build them all right next to each other, unfortunately. There's like a space limitation. Each one makes it so that there's a radius around it where you can't place another. But you can find little areas that can't support another house, and maybe throw them in there. There. How'd that do? So we're at 63%. Probably when we build the 3 big ones, it'll be fine. Just worth keeping in mind, otherwise you'll end up having to fight disease all the time.
Keep up the good work.
Oh, we've got a pirate. Let's go and exploit our way to killing him. Ship in Danzig. Now, so far, our ships are too low. They don't carry enough stuff to make it worth the pirates focusing them. But soon they will be, and you'll hear just constant booms as pirates take them out. There, we captured a ship. Go ahead and repair those two. Repairing is expensive. Like, it costs 10,000 to repair a ship that only costs 50,000 to build. So our money situation is lower than it was, but that's because our loan with Lubeck is still going. Oh, there's some random goods. I think we might not have gotten full from that because we already had our ship full, but that's okay. Do I have anything? Yes, I have ships all over the place. Cologne and Danzig. So in Danzig, we'll do the same thing on the east. So auto east reverse. I better make sure our actual east route wasn't doing the same thing. So our east route starts in Novgorod and goes to Raval, Stockholm, Visby. So Raval, Stockholm, Visby. Okay, so it's going around like this. Now we'll do a clockwork version of that. What is with this happy music? Is there a festival or something today? New ship in Bergen, and what was it, Bremen? No, Cologne. So you're gonna be in Cologne. I'm just looking for treasure maps. What a horrible name. I am the proud owner of the Slough Fuchs. No, this is Auto Central. Actually, we already have an Auto Central, kinda, right? Like our first ship. What was it called? The some whatever. Let's just make you give you a bit more coverage. And you'll be called the Auto Central. And you will be the Auto Central R. Alright. Is Bergen next? Right? Yeah. And I have one in Lübeck. That's just the one I took being repaired. Okay. So we kind of have all the regions. Let's have some cross-region ones now. Just like all the north. So Auto North. Sure. Oh, I saw some goods. I saw some goods. There you go. Just a bit of flotsam. New ship in Rostock? We'll do the same thing in the south. Oh! Oh! Let's see if we can find them. Here they are. They got a little siege engine and a few soldiers. And they're gonna come in and destroy this grain farm, and then we'll bash the gate for a bit. Oh no, they're leaving. They already did all that. Yeah, this is being rebuilt. Alright, auto south? And I think that's the last auto route we'll do for a bit. Alright. Now we had a ship repairing. It is full. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the right to go to the Mediterranean. And to do that, we have to go over here. You have to have a captain with level 3 navigation. And it needs to be at least a cog. So we'll use this captured ship as our trader. Oh, no, that's Auto Central. Thought it was a pirate. But we need to have somebody with navigation 3. So let's take a look at our... That's another virtue of our auto routes. We have all these captains out there slowly getting up experience in various areas. And it's a bit random where the experience shows up. So let's just cycle through and see if any of them have navigation 3. You're at 1. You're at 2. Looks like not. We got a couple 2s. A few 2s, but no 3s yet. Okay, never mind. Then we'll just wait for our captains to grow a bit more. We might see traders as tavern assignments, but for now, we'll just have to make do. Okay, so what's the next thing we should do? We should start thinking about expanding. We need another counting house. So, let's just have a quick talk about this. When you expand, you're certainly increasing your ability to produce goods, because now you can produce not just the 4 goods in this one town that we live in, but we can also produce all the new ones over here. So the tempting thing is to set up a supply chain where, for example, you need metal goods, or you produce metal goods, so you need somewhere else that produces wood and somewhere else that produces iron, and then you set up a ship that sends one to that picks things up from those two, and then grabs metal goods from here, and then sells the metal goods, and that's far too complicated. You want simple routes, and metal goods is actually a pretty good starter item. That would be good, but again, it has a complicated production chain. Is what I'm saying. So the way the game starts out is there's already, like, I randomized production. So these are not the goods that are there by default. It's random each time you randomize. And but what they set is that based on the populations at the time the game begins, there will be enough businesses out in the world to supply every town. So no matter how much there are enough businesses out there to give every town its raw metal, and every business that needs raw metal enough to produce its own good. Until we start messing with things. I mean, now that we've produced stuff and we've created new things and we've spent about a bunch of money building ships that use up metal goods and all that, everything was balanced. It just, not all the goods were in the right places. And really, a city wants more than just its 10-day stockpile. It wants to have enough that it doesn't need to be resupplied. So one city might be empty of metal, while another one might have 20 days of supply. And this would be considered balanced in terms of there being enough metal around, it's just not in the right places. So as we produce buildings, as we produce production buildings, we are messing with the balance. So if we produce a higher tier item, like metal goods, then, well, like I said, we would need to supply it because there is not enough iron and wood out there for everybody to get what they need and also supply the new factories. But also, every good that you produce, whether it's metal goods or grain or whatever, will become super abundant at some point. Because, like I said, at the beginning of the game, everything was balanced. So if you're going to produce more of a particular thing, you're going to end up eventually, well, at first you'll sell well because everyone wants their own stockpiles. But in time, you'll have a ton of metal goods and nobody will want any. So, I favor producing simple goods at first, like grain. Not only will that scale well with population, but if there is superabundance of it, I can just, well, if there's superabundance of everything, you can sell it at the base price. There's little events that let you do that. But food has more of those events because you can also give it as tribute. You can also trade it away as quests. I find that food items and wood and brick, because you'll use more wood and brick whenever you build anything else, they're pulled out of the economy at a high enough rate that you can make money by producing them. So I would not say, let's go try to build a bunch of clothing. I would say, let's go try to build a bunch of wool. Well, and then eventually, as our cities grow bigger and bigger, we can start producing clothing also, because we've created a bunch of unsupplied demand. Anyway, that was probably way more than I should have said. Basically, we've got a city that produces wood and brick already. So the next item on the list is grain, right? So I want a city that produces grain and doesn't do anything else. That's not going to ruin. I'm not like, by producing grain there, making it so I can't produce beer or something like that. So I would not want, well, actually where's the city that has both grain and beer? Like this one. Stockholm would not be a good place to expand to because I want to save this one for building beer. And the population, while it will grow, can't grow that big. Eventually, I want most of the city producing beer and somewhere else producing grain. So what's a good city that has useless things in it? Cheese is another good example of a city to begin with. I might consider cheese. So Danzig has some potential. Danzig has both of these goods, which are the next two tiers up, right? Grain and hemp. And while it also has the metal and meat, other cities around it produce the meat better. Like, we're going to use one of those two for meat. We're never going to use Danzig for meat. Now, it is keeping other places' supply of metal, but Visby right next to it also already has metal. Anyway, I think I'll go to Danzig next. It's also kind of close, so it's convenient. So, well, I don't really need to go into an accounting house yet. I'd rather spend some more time just getting Lübeck set up. Because right now, everywhere we go, we're going to run into a problem. We don't have enough building materials. Like, even Lubeck right now does not have enough building materials. So, let's build some more sawmills and clay pits. Get this guy really mad at me. Wait, which side is which? That's sawmills. So. And we'll build them in sequence a little bit, because it is kind of, it is a queue. If we just build 20 sawmills, they'll all get built before a single clay pit. Alright. So, those will take a while to build, and they'll also take a while to supply, because beggars only arrive slowly, depending on how prosperous your town is. We'll also need to have places to house them. So we'll just go ahead and get things going. I guess all that was a way of explaining why I'm not jumping on a production line yet. Instead, I'm just going to try to get the basics going really better. Lubeck! And I think I will actually begin collecting ships rather than having all of them start new routes. Although this one I'll start a new route, because we have a problem here in Lubeck. We have all of this honey. So let's go ahead and we'll make a little route that will, instead of using our auto routes, we could just sell all the honey on the market and then trust our auto routes to deal with it better. But instead, we're going to deal with it all ourselves. So we have honey here, and we're just going to supply just the local area. We don't need to go crazy with this. Like, there's two places that need mead. So they're going to use up all our honey, just from those two. Yeah, we don't even need Visby on there. This is a good enough route for distributing honey. So what I'm going to do is in Lubeck, I'm going to tell you to load all of your stuff, all the honey you can. And it's not super important because there's only one town, but I'm going to set it up right. I'm going to tell it to unload everything at the end of its trip. So unload everything and then load everything again. Only honey. And now from now on, you are going to sell the honey to the town, not to a warehouse. You're going to unload as much as you can at the 175% price. And you're not going to load anything. So this is like what the game does when it sets up an auto trader, except for we're targeting it to distribute Lubeck's honey. So let's look at this. We have this ship here. It's at 300. It fills itself up with honey. Goes over to Rostock. It didn't sell anything. Goes over to Stettin. Sells a good chunk of it. Goes to Thorn, which apparently needs honey, so it's probably going to sell all of it. Yep. And now it says, I don't have anything else to sell, and nowhere else on my trade route am I loading anything. So it goes home. It skips the rest of the cities. And that's super important to keep in mind, that as long as the order of your trade routes matters. I know I did the what do you call it? The clockwise and counterclockwise, because that's all auto trading. But when you're setting up your own routes, the order matters, because as soon as it keeps track of the last time it could load goods. And if we, for example, were to say, go ahead, get a bunch of honey here, then go to all these places selling honey, and then go to Visby and buy some honey also. It'll say, oh, I'm out of honey. Well, I'll go here and see if they have honey, but they won't. I'll go here and see if they have honey, but they won't. I'll go here if they have honey. Actually, I'm not sure about that. It might just skip straight to Visby, but I don't think it does. I think it follows the entire route until it gets to the last unload. I'm not sure of that. I'll have to test it at some point. Not now. But either way, you want them to short circuit. You want them to give up as soon as they run out of honey. So it goes straight back to Lubeck, which means that your routes that you're making these circles of don't actually go that way. they're not following the route the entire time. They short circuit all the time and end up crossing and going down paths you didn't expect to get back to their home cities. But now we have a whole nother set of honey to go. So how much honey are we producing per day? We're producing 8 per day. So this route is 11 days. So we're kind of producing not enough honey for the route to deal with, and we're gonna end up running out of honey fast. So that's why we didn't make it a really long route, because there's just not gonna be a full 300 honey every time it comes back. That might have been a bit roundabout, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and continue. What just happened? We have a new ship in Bruges. And I don't have anything to do with the ship right now, so I'm just going to turn it into a convoy and send it to Lubeck. New ship in Bremen and in Hamburg. Now I want ships. We're going to want ships, but I just don't have any use for it immediately. So we'll just collect them. Eventually I'll stop building them away from our main hubs. We'll just build like in 3 or 4 places. But for now, it's okay. Like, we've got money. It doesn't bother me to have ships sitting idle in port. Any quests? No? Okay, so now that we built all these wells, the city is fully supplied. Those are our warehouses. We should check our guard. Our guard is fine. The city is at 58, so we're good on building more houses. And we're slowly working our way through building all these sawmills and hiring on staff as we go. So we're eventually going to want routes to distribute our wood and brick, but not yet. Right now, I want to accumulate some wood and brick, and use it to expand our ability to produce wood and brick. So we are selling that, right? We're keeping like 250, I think, or 100, and then selling the rest. So we're over on wood, because the city produces enough wood by itself, but we're selling brick as soon as it pops up. I like to keep a little bit on hand, just so that when we get the quest to increase production, we can immediately sell some stuff and be able to build it right away, instead of having to go and get some. Let's build another couple houses, just to keep that nice and low, so it doesn't pop over 60 for a few moments. There, the loan we did finally matured. Okay, so we were looking at Danzig, right, as our next potential expand. I just want to wait till we get some accumulated goods in our new ship in Thorn. Now, eventually, Lubeck's going to be under siege too, and that's going to suck. Eventually, we're going to want to make sure that we have a high enough rank that we can make them not siege Lubeck, or wait for them to expand the wall, because otherwise we're going to have to rebuild everything. But that's okay. It doesn't cost us. the city has to rebuild it for us, and it doesn't produce very well for a while. What's building here? Just another crater. Why don't we just load some of those up? Let's build a ton of them. This is how we get goods out of the economy. New ship in Bisbee. And I swear, the virtue of that auto route is that you always have a ship everywhere. You never have to wait around that long. Not a lot of pirate activity yet, because we haven't been expanding, and that's another reason I do it, I have to admit. I feel a little bad about the whole cheating the pirates thing, but it's just so annoying I don't care that much. Okay. How we doing? See, the pirates get stronger, but that's fine. That just means they have more ships for me to steal from them. This is a good example of a quest that I was talking about. So they're willing to buy all the cheese in the world at 120, which is the 20% marker for cheese. So you can usually produce cheese at a lower price than that, which means that this is just a way to dump cheese from the economy. So if you end up with a warehouse of 20,000 cheese and you've distributed it all over the place, you can sell cheap cheese here. It's just kind of a way to keep things from getting too crazy. And we'll definitely take advantage of that because we're way going to overproduce bricks. It's just for convenience. Oh, so Cologne is starting to have some problems with food. That might be worth giving it another auto ship. Or a targeted ship, perhaps. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and create a auto Cologne food. So this is going to be like an auto route. It's just going to be a slight difference. All we're really doing is going to go and buy some food. And we'll just keep some on supply. So there's grain there, but there's grain here also. Stockfish. There's beer up here. And then cheese. So you're just gonna automatically trade everything in Cologne. Well, no, I should be a bit less like what I'm doing. We're only gonna trade food. So meat if we had it, but we don't have any on the route. Oh, stockfish, of course, and wine, might as well. Just an opportunity. What am I doing with here? Trade according to a specific wool? Where'd that come from? I don't know. I must have clicked really weird. Here, try to keep Cologne alive. Okay, ship in raw stock. Anything else suffering? Novgorod, perhaps? No? No? Looks good. I'm worried about Bruges also, but so far, it seems okay. Okay, we're building up quite a bit here. Do we have anybody with the right skill yet? So we're looking for Navigation 3. Nope. Our ships haven't traveled around enough for us to get enough experience navigating. Let's go ahead and top off our sailors. Oh, I can't because I'm hiring them as workers as soon as they show up. Yeah, look at this. Just in the past few days from what we've been doing, we've expanded up to 3,500. And we could actually keep on building houses. If there's work available, people will show up. Okay, that should buy us some time. We should build another couple fountains, perhaps. Or wells. Okay, these are all done. So now we're producing 27 and 36 per day. And that's mostly just because of the difference in workers. I think it's the same rate across the two. 114, yeah, it's just the difference in workers. What kind of a stockpile do we have? Probably not much of one, because we're building so much in here. So the city is really just supplying itself. We still don't have enough to go out other places. Just missed the chance to get that ship in Hamburg. There you go. Eventually the entire thing will shut down because there won't be enough pitch in the world. We have another A. There we go. Let's stop building new ones. I think we've got a good 8 or 9 backup. We'll just set a bunch more to be built in Lübeck. I'm certainly going to want more. I'll need another 50, 60, 200 ships. Oh, a plague in Lübeck. Okay, well, a plague is broken out. Which means that they will not be able to expand as much anymore. And they are becoming harder to supply with food because their needs are going up so much because of how much we're doing. And really, the mayor is just being terrible. He should be building like hospitals and things, but instead he's being lazy. Piece of a treasure map. Oh, we can actually see it now. So where is that in the world? Looks like it's right here. It's right up at the northern tip of it. Let's send a ship out to go take a look. $360,000. Very nice. I think the cost of the amount you find is a function of how much the map pieces cost. Or it might be based on your current wealth. But I think the map pieces are also based on your current wealth. So, who knows? There, let's just take a look. So right now, our trade routes are making us about 200,000 a day. And we're spending quite a bit on labor and the cost of our shops and houses. But we do get a decent amount of rent. And that will increase as we own more and more of the world. Okay. What was I doing? So Lübeck has got a plague, so that means it's not going to grow very much, and might as well go do something else, because these aren't that important right now. It's in a state of emergency, so the burghers are suffering. There is no influx of beggars available, no new workers, and people can only become beggars. They can't actually No beggars will become people. Become inhabitants, I suppose it should say. Not people. We ended up with 151 and 179, so we're not quite full. We're pretty decent. Decently balanced. Let's take a look. What have we got? We got quite a bit more wood than we have brick. Because houses need brick more than wood. It's 30 and 60? 40 and 80? Sure. Yeah. Brick isn't used in any other production. It's only used to build buildings. That's... I really wish I had some more brick. Let's build a convoy. This will be our supply convoy. And we'll add a bunch of people to it. So that gives us 1,800 capacity. And we'll just grab a bunch of that wood. And the remaining brick we have. Let's go move into Danzig. Danzig needs wood. By chance, do you produce brick? No, you don't. Oh well. So, we will make Danzig our new home. Or one of our new homes. So, it costs 60,000 to join the city. And then we will be able to build a counting house and acquire further privileges, like building buildings. So, the local goods are another 70,000 and an additional 70,000 to produce meat. But we don't want to produce meat, so I'm not going to take that. Now immediately we need to build a counting house.
You're commissioning a counting house? For your own sake, you should leave it at that.
And let's go ahead and get things set up. So we're going to want some warehouses. The whole point of this was to build grain. So let's build a bit of grain.
You no longer need to try to produce goods here. I have everything under control.
Just way out here. There we go. And we'll build some more houses. What's it at? It's at 58. We don't need to build that many.
I expect you to either tear this house down
And then a few
immediately
fountains.
or cut me in on the profits. Remember, I was here first.
Okay,
I have
so-
already told you a number of times that I do not appreciate your continued expansion in my city. You're disturbing my business.
I like how they gradually get more and more angry at you. It's funny. Anyway, this needs 900 brick, of which we have 100. We are now a grand merchant. We need to build another counting house to get to the next rank, which we could do really easily. But that will spawn more pirates, so I'm not eager. Anywhere else around here sell brick that I can just grab a ton of? I think Malmo does. Yeah. New pirate, Holgerson. And we'll just offload the rest of the wood for now. Okay, come back to Lübeck. We'll see if we have more stuff available. Because our existing workers are still working, they're just not new ones. How are we doing on... yeah. State of emergency, the trend is definitely down. So our housing occupancy isn't going to be a problem. Whoa! That was a pirate. Where you at? In Riga. Okay, let's send our personal ship up to Riga. That's a pirate from Aelberg. Damn it, Aelberg, what's your problem? Like, you're always imposing taxes on goods and sending out pirates and all that. Like, what the hell? So I want to keep that ship, so I'm gonna kill this one off. Oops. Doing these battles at 10 times speed is not always the most efficient. Alright, so now we ended up with another... I'm just gonna put you in Danzig for now. But it would not surprise me if there are another couple pirates out there. They seem like they do... There's one. There's Holgerson. Okay. They come in waves. So go ahead, repair that one up. And you go deal with him. We'll get back to the whole playing SimCity in a moment. Right now, we have to deal with pirates. By the way, if you want to actually play with the pirates on, the way you do that is you go for the sails. You go for the sails, and then you knock down their crew, and then you win. Once you've knocked down their sails, then they're easy to hit. So you start with the middle shot. I forget the name of it. That lets you knock down their sails fast. And you have to pay attention to the wind when you're circling, but it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, a ship was built in Rostock and Visby. Come on, somebody go to Visby. There we go. Suddenly 3 ships are going there. I really wish there was like a, once the ship is done, somebody sell it to Lübeck for me. Okay. My supply ship. Let's go ahead and grab all that. And go to Danzig. We have a couple A's. Are we building a ship here? Yeah, we got them backed up even. We should do that here also. Just keep up the ship building. Alright. Go ahead and unload. And now that we have the counting house up, we can rely on it for our auto trades. So I can tab over to Lübeck and copy its settings and then paste them here, which is good enough for now. It's just a very simple thing, sell everything except for 100 of each. Okay, and go get some more. In Lübeck, we have our personal ship, which got another crayer. Go ahead and repair it up. Oh, there's a pirate. There's Cornbrook. Okay. Nice. Just some random flotsam. There we go. Lubeck is starving? You know, I think I might have neglected Lubeck. Well, no, it's because of the plague, of course. Probably the plague was just finished, and now the workers are getting back to work. But that's shocking. Like, I didn't do a really good job of making sure that lots of routes include Lubeck, but they will eventually, so there's no real point in bothering too much. Anything interesting? No. So we have an A over here. Just a bit more of these things. Let's check out Danzig. I think probably it's built many things by now. New ship in Cologne. Yeah. Yeah, it's completed its entire list. So now it's at 53%, and we're at half capacity. We should build some more grain farms, just so that they have things to expand into. Well, it's worth actually paying attention. So let's take a look at this real quick. So Lübeck needs 97 grain per 10 days, or about 10 grain a day. Danzig needs 74 per day per 10 days. So in total, we want to be producing about 17 per day, just to supply those two towns. We are already producing 8. So if we were to go and build like 50 of these, we would definitely need to spread all over the place in order to sell. I'm really just focused on supplying Lübeck right now. Eventually, we'll want to expand, but for now, well, let's see if we can get a quest. Do you have a quest for me to build some production? Yeah. You want me to build meat? I only have privileges for meat. Like it would pay for itself, but I don't want to bother. I'm just going to build some of these. And then a few more houses for all the people who will work there. Did our fountains get made? Yeah. So we weren't even good before. We definitely will need some more fountains. Here we can build some small ones. There we go. Do we have another queued up? We do. Alright, and meanwhile our auto ships are just making us tons and tons of money, which is great. The burgers are still starving. How's, oh, Cologne still isn't any good. We need to get some more food production. I guess that's what I'm doing. I should start thinking about what my next one's gonna be. We have hemp here. So it's not that important that we build more hemp. I mean, eventually I'm probably gonna want hemp built somewhere. I don't know. Somewhere else. Cheese would be a good next thing to look at. I'm trying to figure out where I want to build it that has it. Is it only these two that have it? Wait a minute. Cheese. No, I guess it's just those two. Okay. So Visby or Malmo, which ones are more useful for potentially other things? Malmo's got salt. So, and we've seen that pairing of of iron and tools in several places, like Novgorod. Where else was that? There was somewhere else that had iron and tools. Was there? Well, maybe that's good then. Bisbee for its tools. Like, it doesn't have the wood, but neither does anywhere else, apparently. I thought there was another place. Maybe I'm wrong. This has wood, also. But the wood's going to be used for the pitch, not for the tools. Potentially Bergen would be good for that also. Basically, I think that there is enough potential for tools that we could use this for cheese. What else was Malmo producing? The salt. And other places that have good salt. Hamburg has good salt. Yeah, Hamburg would be great for salt. So let's make Malmo the cheese place. It's also close to our main line, so that's convenient. What do I have on my ship? A bunch of wood. Nah. So every time you get a new counting house, the price of the next one goes up. So the last one was what, like 80? This one's 120. Eventually it's going to start costing like 10 or 12 million to build a new one. But we have enough for there, at least. So cheese is their specialty good, so we're going to need to buy both of them. First things first, counting house.
Don't even think of building any more buildings here. We have no need of your shoddy work here.
Warehouses. This does supply its own building material, and that's never going to be a bad thing. But let's get the cheese going first. Well, no, let's get one of each of these.
You no longer need to try to produce
Just so that we can
goods
keep
here,
all our cheese in
as
one
I
spot.
have everything under control.
Alright, and how much cheese do we want? I don't even know how much production is in one. So we'll just build like a small amount at first.
I see you enjoy baiting me. I told you to stop trying to expand your holdings in my city,
There.
dullard. Which
Dullard.
part of that is so difficult to understand?
Increase production of Malmo for salt, which I'm not making. New pirate. Lafayette. Oh, our counting house doesn't actually work yet, so we'll need to just sell directly to the town. Okay. Here, go ahead and distribute some of this wood. My convoy has no attempt and escape. I lost the battle, and they plundered all of my wood. Well, revenge. There we go. We got some of it back. Some of it was on the ships that sank. Alright, what was I doing? Were there other ships around? Other pirates? No? I think we're good. Okay, you were going to get some more brick. How's this doing? 5 more days. Takes some time to get a new counting house up. We better build some houses here.
So, you want to lure my tenants away? You are not the first to try either. I wish you luck. You will need it.
Incredibly well-placed fountains there. Or, I keep calling them fountains, I don't know why. They're wells. That'll be good when the large ones are built. New ship in Thorn. So right now I only have 2 ships that I'm using. My personal ship and my supply fleet. Let's check to see if we have any captains who are able to fly fly to the Mediterranean. No. We're starting to see some 3s and 4s showing up, just not in navigation yet. There's one. Otto Rostock has a captain with level 3 navigation. Guess what? You are now going to be a different ship. A different fleet. Alright, so what I want to do is grab a cog and lose my Crayer. And then let's save our route. And then we'll make a new... What was it? Otto Rostock? Yeah. A new convoy. Otto Rostock. And you just load the route. There. They'll take over for you. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, you will become our... you're going to go away. So... You're well prepared, all that. You don't have a route anymore. Let's delete that. Okay, and we will send you to the Mediterranean to look for some new ports. Now, I think they're always the same. I'm not sure. I think they might be randomized. But you know, of course, there's a bunch of ports all over the Mediterranean. Let's just start right there. And we'll look for new places, new potential trade routes. I could send bunches of them, but I don't have the captain experience. What am I doing? I need to figure out what I'm doing next. So we just built a counting house. Now, similarly, we're going to need staff, guards for our storage. We're going to need an administrator. Okay. We are starting to produce some cheese at less than 1 a day. How are things going over in Danzig? So, we are of sufficient rank that we are able to see what the various kings and rulers of the region want us to do. So they want me to reduce Visby's prosperity. I could take this and just by chance complete it, because prosperity tends to go up and down, but I won't. So this is the Duke of Pomerania, who is responsible for Stettin, Danzig, and Thorn, and he will accumulate troops, and when he has enough troops, he'll attack. He is right now satisfied, but his satisfaction is going down because no one's accepted one of his requests now and then. Now, if we eventually get a ruler to like us enough for a long time, then he could, one, create active land routes between towns, and two, he could give us new towns and say, go develop an area over there. And that's great. That's wonderful. But that's not really part of the game right now. That's later game. Right now, we're at the expanding counting house phase of the game. New ship in Rostock. Now, I remember saying that I wasn't going to make any more, but then I built that supply fleet and suddenly we didn't have any ships anymore. Needs hemp. How are we doing on this storage? Our honey production is never going to keep up with the route that's distributing it, but that's fine, because this isn't the city for honey. This is the city for wood and brick. And what do you want? The Duke of Mecklenburg. He just wants money. Here, have my money. So now he is more satisfied. And apparently Rostock is probably the next one up on his list to besiege. New ship in Hamburg. Oh, okay. Raval is under siege. That's bad. Let's get you going. And I heard some pirates. Where were they? There's one, and there's one. So we got pirates all on the east coast, probably. Where was that? That was another one right there. Oops. Darn it! I didn't mean to fire that one. I was trying to fire at this one, and it just kind of got in the way. That means we're going to end up walking away with a cog if we don't sync it out right. Nice miss. Good. We captured it. We just killed all of them. So he's got 2 snakas. They're maneuverable. This could be a little tricky. Except he's stupid, so it's not that tricky. It says I'm capturing stuff, but really I'm just getting my own goods back. I just want to see if there's a pirate right here. There is. Okay. Get you going in, get you coming out. Yay, physics. No! I did it again. Darn it. I was trying to get the other ship. Oh, now we got a snaka, of all things. Like, I almost wanted to sink it. Just scuttle the whole thing right now. New ship in Bergen. Sure. Why is this? Is it stuck there? Maybe? Usually it just shows up for a little bit and goes away. It might be stuck. Maybe it'll get fixed next time something shows up. I like to see that. When the most in-demand item for a town is pelts, you know they're pretty well set up. Yeah, that definitely is frozen. We'll see if when the next ship is built, it fixes itself. We have one in Cologne, but I'm not sure if that was before or after. Cologne is actually having trouble, because it's been starving long enough that it doesn't look like our other town anymore. See, these all have a little wall around them. Let's see, it's down to less than 1,000 people. Well, what can we do about that? Where's my supply fleet? We should have some grain built up over here by now. Yeah, 1,000. Sure. We'll just go ahead and bring it to Cologne. Frustrating. Alright. Well, it doesn't need very much. What do we do with the other thousands of it? We'll just throw it on there. And then someone else will buy it right away. Probably myself. Actually, while we're there, let's buy some fish. Short on honey produces its own honey. But that means it's turning all its money into mead, is the issue. Oh well. Yeah, new ships are showing up, but they're not showing up here. We broke it. That's annoying. And probably I'm being yelled at by people also, and they're not being given a chance to yell at me. It's very sad. All right, I think that's a good enough an excuse to restart. Probably tomorrow. We did not quite a 3-hour session, so thank you everyone for watching. Does this appeal at all? Like, I'm not sure if this is actually something anyone would ever want to watch on watch someone else do. Let me know. Let me know that you don't like it. I don't know why I'm talking. Nobody got 2.5 hours into this video. So thank you everyone.